Now from Hollywood, California, the horror capital of the world, the Boulet Brothers, creatures of the night.
Hello, Uglies, and welcome back to the Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night.
We have returned.
We've been gone quite a while. I have to apologize to all the listeners because, like I've mentioned before, when there are podcasts that I like, that I listen to every week, and they don't come out, I get super pissed.
Shame.
And so I feel bad that we've made the audience wait this long, but it's for a good reason. We've been very busy. We're working on a bunch of different projects, scripted projects, and you're going to be very happy for what comes out.
They don't care about that, Drac. They don't care about that. They want their podcast. It's got to come out every 7 days. And you know what? I don't blame them. But despite popular belief, we are only human sometimes. We just couldn't get it there, but we are so excited to be back on Creatures of the Night to just have a catch up.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was Dead by Daylight, because by the time this podcast releases, I'm pretty sure that our skins will have dropped.
That is so sexy. Oh, I can't believe it. And there's like leaked footage, and I know it's like kind of all over the place. I heard some of the VOs, and they happen to be yours, and like the character creation screen, it was something like, "Get ready, bitch," or something like that. It just sounded so cool.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal. And you know what? I try to tell my family about this, and they're like, oh cool. Like they like almost completely not uninterested, but just not excited. And I'm like, in a video game, and they're not.
Listen,
it's not.
If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you really don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Like if you're familiar with it, you're like, wow, this is a big deal. We're the first horror hosts to be incorporated into the game.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal, right?
No, absolutely. It is. And you know what? Yeah, I guess if you know, you know, and you don't, you don't. And it just sucks to be them that don't.
Yeah, some of the artwork got teased. I am very happy with it. I did see it before, but I didn't see it animated initially. And so I wasn't sure how it was going to look, but I ended up being very pleased with the results.
Yeah, and some of the violence is so exciting. Like the character jumps and kind of stomps the guy that's killed and emits this like black Icarus blast, and it pours out of their mouth and turns into crows. Like it's just so cool.
I cannot wait to play as us. So if you're listening at home, get into Dead by Daylight, download these skins, and have some fun.
We've even talked about potentially streaming, like playing and streaming, but I'll have to say this, that's a long way off because, girl, I got to get good.
I don't even know how to stream. I mean, obviously Ian does, right? That's what he does all the time.
Yeah.
But I have no idea how to do that, nor do I have the mental capacity to learn something new. No, there's no space in my brain right now. All right, so we talked about Dead by Daylight. We also have the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 6 tour coming up very soon. It's like a month away, right? Month and a half?
Ooh.
Very soon. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, make sure you go to dragulalive.com and get your tickets. We have some really fun stuff planned. I can't wait to see everybody. It's always fun to check in every year with the fans across the country.
Yeah. I'm super excited about this cast too. Not only Asia, Gray, and Auntie. I can't wait to be reunited with them and just be with them night after night after night. But our guests have like nice show blocks. Like Pi is going to be with us for 6 or 7 stops. Jaharia is back, and Majesty will be with us when we're in the Northwest. And I'm excited about it.
Me too. And obviously, if we stop by any of the cities that the other cast members of season 6 are in, I'd love to have them out as guests as well. So
maybe
we'll see if that happens.
Yeah. Yes,
it's not up to us, you know?
Yeah. One thing that I was actually just proofreading, just throwing it out there for those that know and have been to the tours in the past. We have these really cool kind of like Dragula themed comic books that live in Dragula world associated specifically with that season. And I just edited the one that we are going to have for the season 666 tour. And it is cute. If you like the other ones, you have to complete the set.
We're also releasing a limited number of our Halloween records. So we'll sell them there at the merch table and we'll sign them and all that stuff. These ones are a little different, I think, somehow. I think there's a different print, different color to the record. So
if you haven't gotten your tickets and you're interested, get them now at dragulalive.com.
So we've been doing these recaps for a while.
It's been
for quite a while.
Yeah.
And so we haven't been able to review horror movies like we normally do. So today we are going to do a full summer slasher recap. So now that we're done with the recaps of the show, we're going to recap our favorite horror movies or our not so favorite horror movies that have come out in the last couple of months.
And we see them all. We really do.
We see them all.
Yeah.
I
and,
even saw Jurassic Park and it was horrible.
Oh my God. I want my money. I want my time back. I want my money back. Yeah, I'm very unhappy. Yeah, so we've actually been to the movies, I don't know, dozens of times over the past couple of months, and we've chosen 5 horror movies that we've seen, and we're going to be doing sort of a marathon recap of those right after we take this break. We'll be right back.
All right, we're back, everyone, and it's time to discuss our favorite and not so favorite horror movies of the summer of 2025, so far at least. Let's start with the most recent, which is Megan. I think that's what we saw last.
Yes.
So we have Megan 2. They did the sequel.
Hang on to your vagina.
What did you think overall?
Okay, overall, it was not a horror movie.
Yeah.
It was not scary. It was not an extension of Megan 1. And there were things that I did not like about it. For example, they made Megan an anti-hero. You were supposed to like her and root for her. And I like my villains dark and salty and scary and hateable. And then you kind of love to hate them, right? I don't want my villains turning into anti-heroes. That aside, they leaned so hard into like high octane action killer AI just craziness. It was still fun. Like I actually walked out smiling. I had a good time.
I had a good time watching it too. It felt more like an action movie starring Megan, but I was happy to see her on screen again. I loved the first one. I think too, it was interesting that they kept some of the really campy moments. It's like they understood their viral marketing from the first one.
Oh, yes, they
and
did.
And they leaned into it, which I really appreciated.
You know, there's some queers over there on the marketing team because they know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. The Kate Bush of it all.
Exactly. That's how I just like that when she went in on, I think it's like this woman's work or whatever. Oh my God. I came home, I took a long shower and I played Kate Bush just in honor of Megan 2.
So we give Megan 2 a thumbs up. As a movie, maybe it's not as a horror movie, right?
Definitely not as a horror movie, but it was fun. Very light, turn off your brain. If I had to throw out a little bit of advice, I think in general for everybody who creates content, the story doesn't have to be like super mega gargantuan, world-changing, catastrophic.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like keep it small. It's more intimate. It's usually more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, especially after watching Jurassic Park, which made tons of money and was one of the more stupid films I've seen in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awful.
Our friend Brian, when we walked out, he's like, yeah, a lot of people will see it this weekend. And then the word will get out and then no one will. And I guess it's already got like a 50% or less on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, does
so
it?
Yeah.
I can't do the Scarlett Johansson as an actor. I can't do it. She just doesn't do it for me.
But what about Dolores?
Oh my. I kept looking over at you and rolling my eyes every couple of minutes. And when that thing came out, I was like, kill it with fire.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
Megan's a thumbs up. We liked it.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Now, let's go on to 28 years later, which people had an odd reaction to, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure that everyone feels the way I do about it.
How do you feel?
Well, what did you think?
Okay. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I know that the ending was weird, but that didn't really bother me. I think I read somewhere that they were trying to present the idea like this. You know how, like, let's say you're sad one day and you're listening to sad music and you're going about your day and you're sad, right? But then you run into people at a store and they're not in your movie. They're in their own movie. They're in like a comedy movie where they're cutting up on each, it's a different vibe. And someone over here might be in a drama movie with their partner that day. I felt like from what they said, they were trying to touch on that.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Because 28 years has such a distinct feeling to it, which I think they maintained. But this was someone else's version of living in that world.
It was a mashup. Like those two pieces were incongruous. They smashed together, and it was actually jarring.
It was, but I don't know why I was okay with it. I was like, that's fine.
Here was my arc with 28 years later. I was enjoying it. I liked it. Completely on board, even with the alpha and his giant like dong. And we got 3/4 of the way through, and then it went real weird. Started with the pregnancy and then the bone altar. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is happening? And then when it got to the very end and they twisted it, they just took the knife and twisted it double, triple. I was like, oh, I like this better now. I like that they put it on its head and made it strange. And it almost felt like the next movie is going to feel totally different and be involved with those characters that they introduced at the very end. Will be in their comedy or whatever you want to say.
When we watch this movie, we see this doctor who's been killing zombies on his own, living out in the wild, right? But he doesn't kill the alpha zombie for some reason. And I think we know why.
Yeah, it's lonely out there. It's lonely out there and pickings are slim.
He wants to get that alpha zombie to calm down and be manageable and tear him up.
Ooh, Samson.
So 28 years later, it was good, right?
Yeah, I think it's a controversial movie. I think some people will love it and some people will hate it. I do not think that people will feel lukewarm about it. It's kind of strange because it shifts tones a couple of times. So if you like to be like kind of saturated and sunken into a world and really soak that up, I don't think this is the movie for you because it changes gears too much. But if you want like a wild, near apocalyptic zombie ride and that you do not know what's coming, then this is going to be really fun.
I think so too. Let's move on to Bring Her Back. Also, a slightly controversial one. People felt differently about this than the first. Well, it's not a spinoff, but you know. Yeah,
no, and it's not a prequel or a sequel. It is the follow-up to Talk to Me.
Right.
And Talk to Me was one of, if not my favorite horror movie that I've seen in years.
Okay, so what did you think of this?
That was my reaction to Talk to Me. You guys need to forgive me because my brain is fried. I know there's two brothers from Australia who made it. I can't remember their names. Just bear with me and forgive me. We're talking about Bring Her Back and Talk to Me. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, I know everything about them.
Yeah.
I know they started off on YouTube and they did these wrestling things
videos,
and all.
Yeah.
Really interesting story. And you
so
can
cool.
Yes, and you can see a unique perspective being delivered from them. In some ways it's similar to our past, which is sort of self-starters and you do your own thing and then your voice is undeniably different.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Untainted. And it's respectable and it's actually inspiring. And I'm happy to see other people do that. And I felt that way about Terrifier a little bit too, even though they're slightly more swerving into the, dare I say, mainstream. Eventually they got there. But at first it was like, wow, these guys are out on their own limb doing their own thing. And I just applauded that. But I don't know how much I applauded Bring Her Back because it was intimate and I did like that. The characters were kind of strange. All of the settings were kind of claustrophobic and kind of atmospheric. It was a little bit of a lesson in trauma and pain.
Which listeners of the podcast will know we don't like.
It's not my favorite thing.
We don't want an allegory.
This one wasn't as good as Talk to Me. And I do compare them, you know, maybe I'm guilty of that, but it's kind of hard because I think Talk to Me set such a high bar and a huge precedence. This is different. And I did read that it's supposed to take place in the same world that Talk to Me took place in. And it is supernatural and there are like rituals and we're talking about reanimating someone's spirit and putting them in a new body. That's basically what this is, like literally Bring Her Back. And yeah, I'm not sure how successful it was.
Okay, but do you think if you didn't know it was from the same people that did Talk to Me, if it was just floating on its own and you didn't know who made it, like you watched it at a film festival, don't you think you would have liked it more?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because I think we had an expectation.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually liked it. I didn't love it. I don't think I'd watch it a second time.
No.
My main concern with it was the antagonist, the killer, only killed like 2 or 3, I think 3 people max, wasn't it?
Something low, a very low
body
count.
It was very low body count for a horror movie. I felt like I could feel her abuse. I feel like I've known people like this before and I cannot stand them. This sort of manipulative, emotionally manipulative people. Yeah, I
know a
can't
few
deal
of
with.
those.
I have a serious retraction to people like that. But the way that they told that story was interesting and
Yeah.
compelling. But I think the horror part of it, it was like, this is just some weird foster care abuse situation.
Yeah.
Oh, and then all of a sudden she killed someone, you know?
Yeah. And the blind daughter had so many things going on. And that was actually a very interesting character to see as a main character in a horror movie.
That was her first movie, too.
Yeah, that was she was great.
She was really good.
She was very
Yeah.
believable. Yeah.
She's the only person I liked in the whole movie. Oh, I actually liked the social worker.
The social worker was good. And
I thought the social worker was going to
Yeah.
like turn up and kick her ass.
I did too. I definitely didn't think she was just going to get squashed by her Subaru or whatever that was.
The way she was killed was very
Brutal.
violent and
Yeah,
real.
Brutal. Yeah. I wish I could say more good stuff about it. I did like it. And I think you're right. If I hadn't been comparing it to Talk to Me, it probably would have got a little higher of a response from me. But like at the end, I felt like the reveal just did not pay off, right?
Yeah.
Like the end, I was kind of like, it was like it just didn't explode or like like a revelation, because the film itself was actually filled with a lot of mystery and supernatural, and you weren't exactly sure what was coming, and then the ending just didn't really deliver.
I thought it was really well made. It had all the, you know,
People say that. I thought it was well made. I really enjoyed the score. Like, this is what people say.
no, for real.
No, when they're trying to find
Oh.
good things about it.
No, I thought I actually liked it. I think they changed the ending because apparently someone associated with the crew died or something during the making of it. And so they changed the ending to be less awful, I suppose. So maybe that's why you didn't get the explosion that you were looking for, or the big reveal. And the reveal ended up, you know, the resurrection ritual failing and the mom just being in the pool with the rotting daughter.
Yeah.
Which
It
was
sounds
gruesome.
so much cooler than
It sounds so much
it
cooler.
looked.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're half and half on
Yeah.
this one.
Let's move on to our fourth movie pick of this summer slasher series, and it is Final Destination. Is it Bloodlines? I think that is what it's called.
I'll go first.
Okay.
She dumb. She really dumb.
You didn't like it?
I liked it in the way that I would like going on a roller coaster at Knott's,
Yeah.
but it was not smart.
No, but it was Final Destination. I
Yeah.
mean, it had all the tropes and all the makings of a Final Destination movie. I think it delivered in that department. Final Destination is such a fun, very specific sort of language when it comes to like a horror film. And that opening sequence was incredible. Like it was so good. And like the time jumping back and forth. I didn't really know what they were going to do with that movie because
Right.
it started off in such an unexpected, interesting, kind of cool way. And the action of it and the death of it, like the kills were great.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for a Final Destination movie, it's worth watching. I'm not a huge Final Destination fan, so I'm kind of on the fence about this one.
The mom out in the middle of the woods in her death trap house was giving Laurie Strode, and like Halloween Ends, when Halloween Kills, one or the other. It was pretty much the same character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
one was hiding from Michael Myers, one was hiding from like death.
She was hiding from her Final Destination.
Yeah, she was. And you know what? It's kind of weird. We all have the same Final Destination, don't we?
We all have the same Final Destination, but not the same vehicle to get there.
Right. Everybody is personalized.
Yes. Like in that movie, a log could fall off of a truck in front of you and ram
Yeah.
through your car and kill you. Or maybe you fall off of a Sears Tower looking building. I don't know.
Have you ever thought about how you might die?
I've more so thought about how I want to die,
Okay, I have too.
which is, I don't know. I just go to sleep and that's it.
Yeah,
I don't want
that's
to
it.
suffer or anything
Who
like
the
that.
fuck wants to suffer?
I also,
I want to suffer. I want it to be terrible.
you know, some people want to cling on. I'm like, I don't want to cling on.
Oh no, I don't want to cling on.
No, but I'll tell you the way that I think is the scariest way to die. Well,
Okay.
there's a couple. One is drowning.
You think so?
I think drowning is very scary because I keep picturing you're in the ocean. There's nothing around. You just
Yeah.
go under and that's it. And there's nothing you can do. Just the moment realizing that it's over for you.
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
It's kind of creepy that it can happen anywhere though. Like it's not just about the ocean.
No, it's
like,
true.
I've kind of been obsessed listening to that 90s group, the Cranberries, like quite a bit. Like a lot of their music is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, the lead singer, I think she's so talented. Her voice is haunting and gorgeous. And she was on like a combo of pills and like a beer or something and drowned in the bathtub in London, like right before or after a show.
Yeah.
Very unexpectedly. And it's tragic. And
Apparently you can drown from a tablespoon of water.
Really? A tablespoon? That seems crazy.
Google it.
Maybe a quarter of a cup.
Okay, so the other way that I think is terrifying to die is if you got stuck in one of those like spelunking.
I can't believe you just said that because as you're doing, I'm like, oh, I know which one is the most horrifying for me.
Is that it for you?
That is the most horrifying.
To get crammed in some hole and you can't get out.
Yes.
Oh my, yeah.
Well, you know how I am with like the closed spaces where you can't move your arms, but imagine that upside down in the dark and you know you can't move. Like, oh my God, that just like destroys me.
This is so crazy, but I'm just going to say it since you asked. I oftentimes have thought about in different scenarios, what would it be like if an earthquake just sort of like took this building down right now and pinned me in some kind of god awful way that kept me alive? It didn't kill me, but I could not move.
Horrible. Yeah.
It's horrifying.
I mean, being a Californian, I've also thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the reality of earthquakes is definitely part of our reality. There was something that happened. I don't remember where, but there was it an earthquake? Yes, it was an earthquake and there was a collapse and two people survived right next to each other in the darkness on the ground. I can't remember exactly what it was, but then there was like a water main or something that exploded with the earthquake and they ended up drowning. I mean,
wow.
this combines your two nightmare scenarios.
Wow.
Because they couldn't get up from the rubble. Yeah.
I've thought about it enough. This is going to sound crazy. I have thought about it so much that I'm like, do I need a cyanide tooth? So that if I ever get stuck in that situation, I can just bite it and die. Because I think I'd rather do that.
That is so good. You know what I think is scary? Any way to go if you had dementia. Like the deterioration.
Well, you wouldn't know.
The deterioration of dementia. Well, you don't think you would, right? I don't know. I just don't.
How would you know?
I don't
That's
know
the
what
whole
that
point.
is like, and I don't want to.
I mean, yeah. I guess maybe you come in and out of lucidity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And of course, it would be horrible. It would be horrible when you were like, when it was on setting, right? Because you come in and out of it and you'd be like, oh shit. Like, why am I downtown right now in my fucking
you're on
underwear?
a ride that you cannot get off of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Scary.
Anyways, that is scary. Hopefully they'll find a cure for that. And they'll re-release cyanide teeth just in case you get in the, a pinch.
That's a really good merch item. We should do Boulet cyanide teeth.
I like it. It's your back molar. You have to get it ripped out. You put it in. Easy peasy.
Mm-hmm. We've seen Dune. Okay, let's move on to our final movie select of the summer, which is a lot of alliteration because our summer slasher series end is Sinners.
Sinners.
Yes. Ooh, a vampire movie like no other.
I loved Sinners. I absolutely love Sinners. I absolutely will be watching it again. You know that I love blues music, and the fact that they merged music in with this horror, even with the Irish sort of hillbilly vampires outside and their music, it just was really beautiful and haunting.
I agree. Sinners was 10s across the board for me. I left that theater feeling so energized and so excited just about experiencing a piece of art that was kind of like ecstatic. It was such a vision. It was so good. And music being the vehicle throughout the whole thing and the power of it and the magic of it. I just couldn't praise it enough. And I really thought it was cool because we did get this very rich look into this Southern kind of old school Black experience, which I thought was amazing, including all of the culture and the music, the dancing, just the language, everything about it. But then we saw that reflected again in the ancient vampire, the old Gaelic one from Ireland. Another very specific cultural reference, and they were connected, which I just thought was so good.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about it. I enjoyed it the entire time. And I thought Michael B. Jordan was great.
Incredible.
As the double character. So much so that at the beginning I was like, wow, how did they find another?
You are so stupid. I love you for that.
He's very handsome too.
He's hot,
Yeah.
and he's a great actor in this film. They're twin brothers, but they couldn't be more different. And you both, I thought, were very believable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the mom character too, that the sort of witchcrafty
Yeah.
healer mom. I thought she was really cool.
Oh, and then there was the older guy, the really seasoned kind of wino. Was he a guitarist or something? His performance was incredible. Like, he was absolutely believable.
Yeah, and even the guy that was the bouncer,
Yeah.
being from the South, those characters exist. That guy, his personality, his look, and that they turned him into a vampire, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, the vampires are cool, and the powers that they possess are also cool, like the sharing of memories and experience. And that's how old vampires can quicken themselves and catch up to modern time. What a cool concept.
It is. And that music scene where they sort of went through the decades,
Yeah.
I thought that was genius.
What a great dream. Like, that was a dream I did not want to come back from.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that they picked and chose what parts of vampire lore they would honor, right? Like, absorbing the memories of your newest thrall, the newest person you've taken into a vampire. That is very unusual. I've never seen or heard of that before. But then they went ahead and honored, like, you have to be invited in. You can't enter over the threshold unless invited, which was a great mechanic for the movie.
Yeah. And well, the holy water also, didn't it work against them a little bit? I can't remember now either.
Yeah.
So watch it again.
Yeah, we do have to watch it again.
There is an honorable mention on our list.
Okay. I don't see it, but you let me know what it is.
Clown in a Cornfield.
Clown in a Cornfield was fun.
Clown in a Cornfield we have to talk about because we saw this movie a long time ago at the Overlook Film Festival.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. I felt like the reason I didn't love it is that finding out that the killer, the clown, spoiler alert, everybody, if you want to watch it and you don't know what happens, stop listening for 5 minutes. But when you found out that the killer was actually everybody in the town collectively acting together, I was like, it's not scary anymore. I like it to be like an entity. You don't know where it comes from. All that stuff makes it more scary, I think.
I can see that and I can feel that. I really liked it, and here's why. It was a surprise. I did not expect a movie called Clown in a Cornfield to do anything for me. And the thing about it was, it had a lot of social commentary about the youngest generation, and then, people from older generations that are very familiar with these kind of like horror tropes. And the conversation that people have that are like, the conversation between Gen Xers and like Gen Z. And it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
It's really smart. And I think that's the part where I was like, you know what, this scores for me. It's smart, it's exciting, and it's unexpected. So I might agree with you about the killer, but I still liked it.
And this was directed by Eli Craig, who we saw do his Q&A, and we met him at the film festival. And I loved his stories about making this because it was very low budget feeling, although that budget to us a couple of years ago wouldn't have been low.
No, at all. But TV and movies are crazy and the money is crazy. I found that really inspiring to hear like, well, this was our struggle and the struggle was real. And this is what we had to do to film this scene. And it was 30 degrees and we were in Canada and they actually had a cornfield and we kind of changed it because this is the set that we had. So they rewrote part of it and you got to respect it. You got to respect that.
For sure. I do. I love a label and like Clown in a Cornfield. I'm like, yes, I'm here for this. I'm going to see it no matter if it's terrible or not. But it wasn't terrible.
No, it wasn't.
It felt very much like kind of like a I Know What You Did Last Summer, like Scream. It felt a little bit like that, but in a cornfield. Anyways, I have two other honorable mentions that are released on Shudder, and they are The Ugly Stepsister, which I haven't seen, but I've heard great stuff about, and Ash, which is a sci-fi horror that I haven't watched either, but I've heard good stuff about.
Yeah, those were two of the films on our to-watch list at the Overlook, but there was so many choices that had to be made, so we didn't get to watch those two, but we definitely will.
Yes, definitely. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to answer all of your listener questions, so stay tuned.
We have returned, my little dirty darlings, and it's time to answer all of your burning listener questions. Drac, do you want to do the honors?
Sure.
Or at least the first question.
April from East LA asks, I have listened to all of your podcasts and I don't recall ever hearing you discuss Squid Game. Have you watched the series yet? If so, what are your thoughts? And if not, what is stopping you from indulging?
Okay, April from East LA, not far from here and down around the way. I have not seen Squid Game. I have not seen one episode, and I know it's going to be good. And that's almost why I'm staying away from it, because I have too many things on my to stream and to binge list. There's just too many. I can't start a new series right now.
I know. I feel that too. We did squeeze in the final season of What We Do in the Shadows, which was hysterical.
It was so funny.
I laughed out loud so many times.
You did.
You
were rolling. You
I
were really
love
getting
it.
off.
I love the dry humor. It cracks me up.
Nadia takes it from me. Like, she is absolutely
totally.
my favorite. Like, incredible.
We got to have her on as a guest
I would
judge.
love that.
We have
I would
to.
love
She
that.
wanted to do it on season 5, I think, but there was like a whole thing with getting her over here from the UK.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have not watched Squid Game, and what's stopping me from indulging it is similar to Swan, which is time. I just don't have time to watch it, but I will maybe in December
In 6 or 7 years.
of 2027.
Yes. Lewis from St. Louis writes, I don't know if any of you have seen it yet, but there's this fan-made YouTuber series called Craftula that's absolutely blowing my mind. It's inspired by Dragula, but everything takes place inside Minecraft, and somehow the artistry is just as fierce. How dare you? Based on what we've seen already, I truly believe the next generation is going to bring next-level creativity to future seasons of Dragula.
Well, Lewis from St. Louis, there is a difference between building a digital block and actually getting up off your ass of your computer chair and going to learn crafts and make a costume.
Truer words were never spoken. But I did catch little glimpses of like screen caps from this Craftula thing.
Have?
Yeah, I have seen that before.
How does it look?
I kind of just brushed over it because it wasn't drama and it wasn't anything specific. So I was like, okay, Craftula, put that in my mind.
Yeah.
But it's giving Rappel's Dark Res. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, where there was like this weird YouTuber spin-off thing, and the creator actually ends up going on Drag Race like
one of the
Europe ones. I'm spacing her name right now, but it was so bizarre and creative, and I will never forget because they just kind of riffed on everything Drag Race. And at the time, I think we were on season probably like 2 or 3, and you know, once upon a time we used to like snub Drag Race if we could on the show, and the Boulet brothers appeared in Rappel's Dark Res, and I screamed.
Yeah, we were the main villains that like destroyed everything, and we had Valentina working
she was
for
one of
us.
our minions. That was so good.
Kind of amazing.
So I hope Craftula is good or better than Rappel's Dark Res, and if you haven't heard about that, there's your next Google.
Yes, and Lewis, thank you for bringing it to our attention. I may just watch it one day, at least for a few minutes during lunch. Trinity from Georgia asks, can you make seasons 1 through 3, Titans, and the Halfway to Halloween special available to purchase? Fans need the full Boulet buffet in our Amazon Apple libraries.
Oh, bitch, I can't believe I've never said Boulet buffet before. Trinity, thank you for that. I'm definitely going to be using that again.
The Boulet residence, the lady of the house speaking.
Welcome to the coveted Boulet buffet.
So I don't know why it's not available. And honestly, a friend of ours mentioned this to us recently. She was like, why can't I buy the Halloween special on Amazon? I'm like, you can, right? Like, I assume you can. I think you can get it through a subscription to AMC Plus through Prime, maybe. But I'll ask them about it and see, because I'm curious myself. I'd like it to be available in as many places as possible.
Me too. Samson writes, I know you've said you are fans of the 90-Day franchise. Where could this be going? I'm wondering if you've watched Shakina and Sarper's seasons, and if you also think Shakina is coming for Drac's gig because she looks more and more like Drac every season she's on. Oh my God, now I have to watch.
Okay, I don't know who you're talking about because we watched 90 Day Fiancé in a really concentrated time period.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was during the pandemic because we were just eating it up, and there was
Yeah.
like Anfisa and Darcy and Stacy
Yeah.
and just all that. And that hot Russian guy.
Oh no, not Croatian, Moldovan.
Yeah. What was his name?
Oh, Andre.
Yeah, him.
Oh, he was hot. Kaylani and
Kaylani was
and
there.
What was Asuelu?
Yes, Consuelo, who did the dance in the airport.
Yes, but one of our favorites. Oh my god, I'm not gonna remember her real name. She's the one that went to India with Submit.
Oh, yes.
We had a not so nice nickname for her.
Love to watch her gag because she
Yeah.
would get gagged constantly, and they
Yeah.
would do the craziest shit to
And then her
her.
voice would go like this, and she'd get really crazy.
There was another one. There was that granny who had that like hot young Nigerian guy.
Oh no! He was from Qatar.
Qatar.
Yeah, and she wasn't a granny. She was more like a MILF.
Oh, you're thinking of somebody different.
Yeah, the Qatar.
The guy from Qatar was hot too, but
Yeah.
there was
Oh, okay.
like that granny. Remember, she'd say his name funny. You just said it.
Oh my god, you're not talking about Mackle.
No, not
There's
that
her too.
Angela
Angela,
Michael,
yeah. Oh my
hysterical. Her
God.
street fight
Classic.
in his country.
Holy shit, the cake.
That was
everything.
The cake. No, listen. What's his God? It was the older woman, and she said the guy's name funny, and then she got mad and kicked him out and tried to fuck his cousin.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about. And they're from Belize. How do I remember
Yes,
this
I
shit?
don't know.
Hold on. Yeah, from Belize.
It was like
It was like,
Samson.
Williams. Oh God, what was it?
Oh, there's Williams too.
Wait,
Where was Williams?
No, I was so confused because Williams just looked different.
So anyway,
She
we're
was
going off, but
catfished, yeah.
this is the time period we were watching. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden we just got over it and we never watched it again.
You know what? Samson, thank you for sending us down 90 Day Memory Lane because I know now again how much we loved that show, and we need to see Shakina and Sarpras because if someone's out there coming for Drax gig, I want to know what she
Me
looks
too, and she better look hot.
like. Yeah.
You know that Amphisa was on House of Villains, but she really didn't show up, so that was disappointing.
I remember his name. Harris.
Harris.
Harris. She'd be all like loaded and drunk.
That was wild.
Yeah.
And then she immediately like cast him aside and was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to marry your cousin. I was like,
cousin.
what is happening?
Crazy lady.
Brittany from Maryland asks, there is a lot that goes on off the main stage, and I'm sure even more that takes place behind the scenes. Have you ever been slightly tempted to eliminate someone because of their behavior, regardless of how well they performed in floor shows and challenges? Or had the urge to put them through an extermination challenge just to be a bit mischievous, even if they performed well enough to not be killed off?
We may not have the same answers for this. As far as like putting someone through an extermination to be mischievous, 100%. Like sometimes it would be like, okay, there's 2 people that are slated for this extermination, and like halfway through the episode filming, and I was like, maybe tonight we're going to do 3. And like that can shift and change because you don't know what's coming that day. And then sometimes behaviors, comments, or if people are proving that they deserve to be in the extermination, we'll change the rules and just kind of do what we want to do. Have we ever thought about eliminating someone based on their behavior off camera or outside of a challenge? I don't know about that specifically, but what we do say all the time in every season before we begin in kind of like our group meetings when we introduce ourselves to the cast and try to prep them onto what's coming on the season of the show and what it's like to film a season of Dragula. Everything counts. Everything counts. The way you behave in the van on the way to the soundstage counts. The way you talk to the housing monitors count. The way you behave to the crew at lunch, it counts. Because we're looking not only at artistry, but also professionalism. It's a big part of being an artist and doing what we do. So it all counts.
I would say too, if anyone's ever displayed unsafe behavior, like self-harm behavior or hard drugs or things like that, you know, that has influenced us before to be like, this person for their own well-being needs to be done. That has happened, but it wasn't that their looks were going to save them anyways. So it's a little bit yes, a little bit no. I would say I'm different now in that if someone's behavior is disruptive to the entire cast, I will get rid of them. If there's someone who's domineering and won't let anybody else talk and keeps sucking up all the oxygen, and more so making everybody else in the room be afraid to speak up, I will not tolerate that ever again, because that happened before in a previous season and I will not tolerate it again.
Yeah, agreed. And finally, Chris from Dallas. Chris went ahead and wrote like a small essay here that I'm going to try to read, and I hope I don't mangle it, but here we go. Chris from Dallas. I have a very serious Dragula style survival question. Let's say you're on a first date with someone very hot, very spooky, and you're trying to impress him by being edgy, mysterious, and sexually competent. You both decide to go back to your place to watch horror movies, which of course means butt stuff. Oh, Chris, I'm liking you more and more as this goes on. Here's where it all went wrong. As things got heated, I reached into my drawer for lube and I accidentally pulled out a travel-sized tube of glitter glue. Before I could stop him, he used it liberally everywhere. So my question is, how do you seduce someone again after you've basically bedazzled his butthole? Also, is this technically body horror? Wow, this is out of control. This question is out of control, and it's actually not quite as long as I thought, because there actually is one more question after this.
I think it's suspect if this really happened or not. I'm not sure. But if it did in fact happen, I got to imagine that would be painful, because that'd be like having sex in the sand, which doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
And so I would imagine that glitter glue would be similar. I also have a question. When did the guy realize that that's what happened, and how did they react? Because as far as asking, how do you seduce them again? It depends. If you both laughed about it and were like, wow, that's ridiculous.
That's where my mind goes too. Yeah.
Which,
like,
I
think it has to do with like chemistry and maybe even like a little bit of combination of self-esteem. Like if you can not feel like a total idiot and be able to laugh at it, and both could do that, it could even be something where you're like, want to bedazzle my butthole? It could become like a thing.
Wow.
It can become fun. Yeah, like some people think basically bedazzled buttholes are actually, a mating ritual.
There's your answer, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
If the sex was good, I'd say do whatever you can to make it happen again, and good luck. Jerry from Indonesia, hello Jerry from Indonesia, asks, since the show already has become so big and huge, congratulations by the way, I want to know what is the difference when the crew and production are small, like in your earlier seasons, to big in your later seasons, and what are the positive and negative side effects between the two?
Interesting.
We'll probably have different answers. So
yeah,
for me, the thing that I don't like about the crew being as big as it is now, it takes forever to do stuff. It takes forever, and I lose my patience. Especially, I'm like, I've done this before. I did this before with 6 people. You can do it. Don't get on that ladder again.
Don't
get on that ladder.
That was happening kind of a lot recently.
It's very like, do 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 do. Let me put up this light.
We're standing around in full high Boulet Brothers drag. There is a huge set around us and 50 people milling about, and 30 minutes goes by. We're just standing on stage like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, or it'll be like, okay, action. And I'm like, you want to tell me what we're doing? Because I'm just standing up here with like 8 cameras on me, and I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing right now. That drives me crazy. But
so
that would be my negative.
Mm-hmm.
But the positive way outweighs it, because our team is so good. They take so much off of our shoulders now, and used to all that would be on our shoulders. And now there's different departments, and it's just, it allows us to keep going. I would not keep going if it was like how it was during season 2. I just wouldn't.
No. You know what? You're helping me formulate my negative, because I was going to say, my first answer was there are no negatives. Like, expansion of the crew, more help, more hands, more ideas. Like, it just takes weight off of our plates. And for the earlier seasons, that sort of is the negative. When the crew was smaller, yes, we had more freedom and we could do stuff faster. But you and I and Ian The three of us did the job of like 20 people.
We did.
And
We had to.
It was mind melting. And it was so to the point where like if I didn't love this project, I would cry and I would jump off the roof.
You did cry some.
I did
and
cry.
You definitely freaked out.
No, I never cried. Did I ever cry? I don't think I ever cried. I fucking screamed. I screamed and yelled and threw fits.
You threw a lot of fits.
I threw a lot of fits. Like
even on season 5.
No.
Yes, you did. You threw a lot of fits on season 5. But
and Ian cried a lot of tears.
Yes, Ian cried a lot. But he hid it. Although I could see his little red cheeks when he would come in. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta let it out.
Yeah.
I would have anxiety, you would get pissed, and he would cry.
Yep. Yeah.
I just want to give a special shout out to our crew because we get a lot of positive feedback about our set. And our set is a really diverse group of people. We have a lot of women in lead roles where you do not traditionally see that on a set. Our DP is a woman. Our main story producer is a woman. Like there's just a ton of women on the
AD
team.
is a woman.
Yes, a lot of different nationalities, races, trans people. I mean, we really have everything. And I think that when you're other and you go work on other mainstream sets,
you're surrounded by straight white guys.
You are. And it's not pleasant. I've heard so many horror stories about the way people are treated on other sets. And because I think we were in the ditches, we were in the mines with the crew working when we started the show, I think it made us appreciate them a lot more. And so, yeah, I just want to give a special shout out to our crew because they support us. They're awesome. They're always positive. It's fun to be around. Nobody fights.
Yes, we love you. We love the crew. And I'm so grateful because we have like this super high retention rate. Like there's like 90% of the people like that we have want to come back.
Yeah, Aaron told me that crew members, they circulate them in because they all want to come back.
Yeah.
So they have to like give them different dates and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to say thank you to Aaron, Carissa, Jose,
Knuckles,
Jasmine, Knuckles, you know who you are.
Yeah, David, Casey.
Casey's the star performer.
Yeah. And Lena.
Lena is
and
MVP. Andrew too. I mean, we could just keep going on and on.
Yeah.
Hey, if you work on the show, we love you.
Yeah, we really do. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. We will be back next week. We promise not to leave you as long as we did this last time. I have missed you too. I hope you can sense my delight by recording the newest episode of Creatures of the Night. Please remember to rate, subscribe, and review wherever you listen, and email us your questions at creatures@BouletBrothersDragula.com. And don't forget to get your tickets for the season 666 Dragula tour at DragulaLive.com. We'll see you next week, Uglies. The Boulet Brothers Creatures of the Night is hosted by the Boulet Brothers with music by Neuron Spectre.